aspiring entrepreneurs, artists, and mental margaritas. Like, what is your passion? What is it? What is your escape? What is your mental margarita? Now, I know the
God.
actual physical margarita will help too.
Absolutely. Can't hurt, right?
Yeah, and I see you. Hold on. I'll be following you, and I'm seeing you drinking your whiskeys, your bourbons, man. I'm like, this guy is.
Listen.
I'm like, Billy is like, man, me and him can hang out.
On any given day, man. On
And I
any
love
given
my
day.
cigars too. So I'm like, oh,
Oh,
snap.
listen, I got everything you need here in the book, man. I got so much cigars. Last time I was out in Vegas, it was for a cigar convention that I got invited to. And it's a big one where you have to be like a manufacturer or you have a cigar shop. And, I always try to promote small and local business. So one of the local cigar shops, like, hey, listen, man, you've done so much for us. Come jump on the carpet with us and go in and check it out. Bro, I tell you, I must have brought back almost 500-600 cigars. So I said they're all over my house.
Oh my
Yeah, man. So I'm big time into the bourbon world. I even got a bourbon barbecue sauce that I'm coming out with. So just to give you an idea, so this is what all my sauces look like. You got to have everything look uniform, right?
It looks really nice. I
So
love the packaging. Go ahead.
so in the bourbon world, we're all about hard to get bottles that only come out once a year, allocated stuff that you can only get in certain parts of the country and whatnot. So what I decided to do was to put my love for bourbon and my love for barbecue sauce together.
Wow.
So this is what my bourbon barbecue sauce is going to look like. It's only going to come in this bottle, which is an actual bourbon bottle, special label, right? I'm only going to make 100 of them. So it's allocated. And it's not going to even be available on my website. If you want it, you literally have to DM me directly.
What?
All the bottles are going to come hand signed and numbered by me. They're going to come with 2 Cafe 305 glasses.
Wow.
It's going to come with coasters that say "Be good to yourself," which is
that's
one of my
stuff.
Yeah, and then you're going to get a flask that comes in a carrying case. And it's going to come in this nice box. And when you open up the box, it's going to have a handwritten message from me to that particular person who bought it. So it's going to be completely customizable.
What?
And I'm only doing 100 of them. 100 of them.
That?
And when they're gone, they're gone. And you're going to have to wait next year to get the new version. So
wow.
It's all set up. And if you think about it, I wanted it to look like a bourbon bottle. So this is a regular bourbon bottle. So if you compare the two, they're like the same size.
Wow, that is so cool.
So, the creativity, the forethought and everything that went into it was really to be something special.
Wow.
That I know that my bourbon guys can appreciate.
Yes, man. That is tight.
Yeah, and if you think about it like this, any technology that's currently on the market, whoever made it, believe it or not, is obsolete. So if you got an iPhone 13, to Apple, the iPhone 13 is 2 years old already. It's garbage. They're working on the 14 and the 15 as we speak.
As we speak, right.
So the bourbon barbecue sauce that's coming out next year, I already have in the barrel, working it. I got a burger sauce coming out next year. I got a Japanese barbecue sauce coming out next year. So my evolution,
you get an international, baby.
Listen, my evolution, if you see a product with a label on it on my website, to me it's obsolete. It's old news. I'm already working on the other stuff.
You are not messing around, man.
Listen, I'm telling you, bro, I'm going to get to the point to when I walk in the room, I do not have to introduce myself. Oh, no, I know who you are. Don't sweat it. Oh, okay. That's what's up.
That's what's up. Hold on. Yeah. That's what's up.
when you make the haters ask for a job, yeah. You
right?
know,
When you make the haters ask for a job, then you know you're doing your
listen,
job.
I swear, brother, I want to get to the point to where Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, they're like, why are our sales down 20% in South Florida? Wow. Somebody go down there and find out what the hell is going on.
What is going on?
And they're going to go down
who's
there.
Who's behind it?
They
ain't
like,
nothing, it ain't nothing but Billy.
There's this dude down there. He ain't nothing to be played with. Either we got to buy him out or we're going to have to fight him tooth and nail. It's the only two choices I'm going to give him. Wow. Either lay down or get down. That's all you got.
That's all you got. That's all you got, baby.
Only two choices you got. So I still got that hood mentality when it comes to winning, but I'm using it to bogart my way into the market. I even told Publix no.
You told Publix no?
I told Publix no, and I'll tell you why.
Wow.
So by far, I am the most expensive barbecue sauce on the market. $10 a bottle. Or normally I was charging $12 a bottle, but I say I'll do you 3 for $30. And I can tell you, I've never sold a single bottle of barbecue sauce. People are always buying 3 or more.
Wow.
And I keep it at this size so they go through it. I told Publix no because Publix wanted me to take too much of a haircut on the price. Wow. I say, listen, my customers are paying $10, $12 a bottle. You want me to sell it for $5? I said, no. I'm not doing that.
No way.
No. They
put but having the cojones to say cojones.
But listen, the one thing I understand about people like us, we know what we're worth. Publix put me in their local section. I gave them 300 bottles on a Friday. The dude called me Saturday afternoon and said, we need 300 more. I dropped them off 300 more the same day. Monday, he called me. He said, we need another 300 bottles. He called me 4 times in 1 week to re-up. I said, listen, I gave you what you asked for. Either you put me on the shelf, chest level or higher. I know I wasn't going to get chest level. You got to be doing Heinz catch-up numbers to get those Hellman's catch-up numbers to get that shelf space. They're like, okay, listen, we can't give you that, but we can do this. And I'm like, no. The same week, Trader Joe's got with me. They're like, okay, how much you selling it for? They were like, I was like, well, it's $10 a bottle. What I'll do is I'll give it to you for $8. Because I got to leave some meat on the bone for them to make their money. I get it. They don't work for me. I'm trying to get it in the space. No pressure. Come on, let's go.
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't put in so much sauce in Trader Joe's. The only reason I'm not in Trader Joe's at the moment, because every time you go in and you sell out, you go to the bottom of the list so they can put somebody else in. But the guys like, next time when you're up, I need 1,000 of each one. So just on the barbecue sauce, we got the original, the sweet and tangy, and the Carolina honey mustard. I got an Alabama barbecue sauce coming out that's actually ready, just waiting to get approved by the FDA. Like I said, next year, I'm doing a Japanese barbecue sauce. Bro, I ain't playing with them. I'm finna lock their head. I'm finna take their head clean off. They're going to have to see me.
Take it right off, huh?
I'm not going to play with them. Not playing with it, because you can't. Because the thing I realized, most of the opportunities we get, we make. 90% of the opportunities we get is because we made them.
That's it. Yeah. And that's words of wisdom for anybody that's watching. That is so true. You have to create your opportunity. You can't be sitting around waiting for it to knock on the door.
No, if anything, people are going to try to take it away from you. They're not going to try to give it to you. Now, I'm not saying I haven't had some people reach out to me just out of the clear blue sky and be like, yo, I like what you're doing. I like your hustle. Let me help out. Let me do X, Y, and Z. No pressure. Absolutely. I've had that. I cannot say, I can tell you honestly, I have not done this by myself. Absolutely not.
Right.
You know, I'll give all the credit where the credit is due because Trader Joe's took a chance on me. And I didn't just snub my nose at Publix as if they weren't good enough, but I realized what my value is.
Your
And
value is.
I can't let anybody take away from that.
That's right.
Because really and truly, even before Publix, I was selling 1,000 bottles a week.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
So
that's what I'm talking about, baby.
And I'm talking about it was all online. It was, I have not spent a single dollar on advertisement.
Wow.
I have not said I'm going to allocate $2,000 to advertising. No, I won't do it. I just go through all my platforms. But when I tell you, bro, you know how hard you have to hustle. I mean, it's just one of those things. I saw what other people were doing and how often they were posting and what they were posting and when they were posting. The one thing I will say about the internet, there's nothing new on the internet. So people give you the platform.
That's right.
They give you kind of a playbook. You just have to be smart about how you play your plays.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it all comes down to.
Yes, sir.
So let's backtrack now. So
okay.
How did you get into this business in the first place? How did this all start?
Okay, so I'll even take it back a little further than that. So for me growing up, my grandmother was always there. I was my grandmother's shadow. All my cooking and passion that I learned it from my grandmother. Lost my grandmother about 5 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man. I still haven't mentally and emotionally dealt with that because at this point I'm 46 and I'm still not ready. When I'm telling you, I was next to my grandmother standing on a chair watching her make mac and cheese and collard greens, bro, that's where I get it. So,
and hold on, let me say this real quick to you. That's so weird because my closest thing to me was my grandfather, and I lost him about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, we were that close too.
Yeah.
Okay, now go back. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So for me, went through high school, whatever, did everything, and my entire family is military. Brother, sister, mom, everybody you can think of is military. So we graduated high school, and now I have to make a decision. Am I going to go to the military or am I going to go to culinary school? Now I know what I know about my family. So I say, you know what? It's going to hurt, but I'm going to culinary school. Man, tell the family, everybody, when I tell you, bro, they're 38 hot. 38 hot with me. Everybody was like, okay, if you're going to go that route, cool, but don't expect any help from us.
Wow.
Only person who had my back was my grandmother. My grandma say, listen, you got to do what you got to do. You got to wake up with you. You got to live with you. You got to go to sleep with you. Do what you need to do. That was confirmation.
Wow.
Fought my way through culinary school, tooth and nail. Graduation day, culinary school. Not a single member of my family showed up. Not one.
Not one person?
Not one person. And I don't fault my grandmother because didn't have a car, couldn't get around. So I'm not holding grandma to no kind of heat over that.
No.
But despite all that, I was like, cool, whatever. I'm still finna run with this. My international and baking pastry teacher gives me an internship to Japan. I graduate culinary school in June. Before July, I was in Japan. 2 years in the dungeon, cooking, learning.
You were in the dungeon in Japan? In the
dungeon, bro. I'm talking about, this is where you're going to get it. This is where I learned. Culinary school taught me the basics, but when I learned how to cook was when I was in Japan. Don't get me wrong. I showed them boys how to really do macaroni and cheese. I showed them boys how to really throw down some collard greens, some yams, some fried chicken, some turkey.
Ooh,
like
come on now.
Listen, them boys
food for the soul, baby. Food for the soul.
Them boys like, you ain't family, but you family. You get what I'm saying? Them boys are like, listen, if you ever need to get out of the U.S. and hide from Uncle Sam, you need to get yourself over here and we got you.
Wow.
Bro, I can get on a plane, go to Japan right now, and disappear if I needed to.
Wow.
World will never find me.
So you built some really strong friendships there.
I talk to them at least twice a week.
Wow.
Yo, what's the good? Tell us about the sauce. Get the sauce over here. Let's see what we can do.
That's
And
tough.
because of those connections,
Those are good connections right there.
Has made it over there. Sauce has made it to Australia. Sauce has made it to Mexico. Sauce has made it to Brazil. I mean, it's all about those connections. So
Wow.
2 years in Japan, I come back to the States. I start working in all these restaurants, doing my thing, whatever. I get into it with one of my chefs, and he says to me, "You'll never be anything." And I'm like, word? Bet. Got you. Got you. So I knew what I knew. I knew what grandma had taught me about barbecuing. I knew what my uncles had taught me about cooking ribs and chicken and X, Y, and Z.
That's right.
So I said, okay, based off of what I've learned in Japan, what I learned from my peoples, what I learned from all these restaurants, 2013, I opened up Cafe 305 in Kendall. My rent was $1,000 at the time, right? And bro, when I tell you I did it, I put everything on the line. I was working at a restaurant on Miami Beach. I would get off the restaurant, go down south, and work on building my restaurant. I'm talking about I put up the walls, I painted floors.
You did it all. You did it all.
Everything. When I got it, it was 4 blank walls, a front door, a back door, and a bathroom. That was it. I built my office walls, everything. You name it, I built it. Did that. My rent was $1,000 a month. I had $8,000 days. I would sell out every day. But when I tell you the place owned me, the place owned me.
It owned you, yeah.
Owned me. Got to the point to 2 of my best customers made me an offer. They said, listen, we'll give you $375,000 2-day cash across the table for this restaurant. I'm thinking, you know what? This might be a sign.
Might be a sign.
I put one clause in it. I said, I own the name Cafe 305.
Nice.
The contract. You're not getting that, because if you guys decide y'all gonna get beef with each other and y'all run the business into the ground, Cafe 305 comes back to me.
Right. That is smart, ladies and gentlemen.
Plus, I said, listen, you are not getting my barbecue sauce recipe. If you want Cafe 305, I'll sell you the base business. The name is mine and the sauce is mine. So you're going to buy sauce from me every time you need to re-up. So they became my plug. They had to buy Cafe 305 barbecue sauce from me.
Wow.
They didn't get them recipes. So all that I kept. Long story short, of course, them 2 caught beef. They wanted to franchise it. I was like, listen, franchise is going to cost you $500,000 just to apply for the license. They caught beef with each other, decided it was going to dissolve the business. Okay, cool. I can open up another corporation, but the name Cafe 305 belongs to me.
Belongs to you. See?
So
it worked out.
Took a couple of years off. I was like, all right.
It worked out. It worked out.
Time to get back into it. So my game plan, what I want to do 2024, maybe 25, I want to reopen Cafe 305 barbecue sauce. Barbecue, yeah, down somewhere in Miami.
That's fantastic, man.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And I just decided for now, I'm going to start selling the sauce. I do select events, but it's hard because the sauce itself is keeping me so busy. So, like I said, right now I'm up to about between 2,500 and 3,500 bottles a week.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So what is one word to describe the sauce?
Fire. So here's what
I'll drink to that.
I'll tell you about the sauce. So your typical barbecue sauce, if you take it and you pour it in a bowl, leave it on your counter overnight, when you come back the next day, you got putty. You can spackle a hole with it. It's just so thick because it's all full of sugars and stuff like that. So typical barbecue sauce, if you think about it, it's a paste. It's not a sauce. If you ever take barbecue sauce, stick it in your refrigerator, come back the next day, you got to put it out in your corner on the counter, let it warm up before you can even pour it.
Yeah.
Well, with Cafe 305 barbecue sauce, it's an actual sauce. So you can keep it on your kitchen counter. You can keep it in your refrigerator, and it's going to always be pliable. I mean, you can take it right out the bottle, pour it, and you're good to go.
Wow.
When it came to testing, I froze it. I burnt it. I left it outside on my back patio for about 30 days to see how it would survive.
Wow.
I mean, listen, anything
you ran it through the ringer.
Listen, I broke it 4 or 5 times, and it still had those properties where it was still pliable. You know, wow. I'm not saying you should leave your barbecue sauce outside for 30 days because let's be real, you know, but
please don't try this at home.
Exactly. But let me tell you the forethought I put into it. If you look at most barbecue sauces, the bottles themselves are either completely round or kind of flat like that. Even the bottles I chose them so they fit in the palm of your hand. And the bottle itself curves with your hand. That's how much thought I put into.
You put so much detail into this.
Just into the bottle.
All the way to the packaging, fitting in your hand.
Fitting in your hand. And the one thing I wanted people to always know is where the sauce originated from. You see Cafe 305. Listen, if you know anything, you know where the 305 is located.
The bottom, baby.
You already know.
Dade
so
County.
For me, all day. So all that stuff plays into it. Now, as far as the sauce itself goes, I make sure there was nothing in it that you can be allergic to. So you can't get sick off of it. It's gluten-free. If I had a
gluten-free.
It's gluten-free.
Wow.
You can use it in the keto diet. If I had a rabbi, it would be kosher. So when I tell you everything that I put into the sauce, so first was the original, the second was the sweet and tangy, and the third was the Carolina.
Wow.
Just to get to this recipe here took me about 18 different recipes. So I have all those 18 different recipes written down, plus this one right here, which is number 19. That's this one. And when it came to the sweet and tangy, so it was never just, okay, I'm going to copy this and synthesize this to make it a little different.
You put in the work.
On each and every one of them. I wouldn't have it any other way.
You put in the work.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, that's something else, man.
My why is not about money. To me, I'm not going to sit here and even try to play you as if money's not important, because we all know it is. But my why is not so I can buy fancy cars, big houses.
Right.
And the reason I feel like that is this. Anybody with some money can get a Bentley, a Rolls Royce. They make those for anybody. There's no requirements besides from money for you to own that car. It's only requirement is money. My why is because I want to leave something behind for my daughter and for my family and for my city. I want to make something where people think about Miami as a barbecue capital, like they do a Texas, a Kansas City, a Missouri.
Yes. Wow.
You know, those kind of places.
That's deep, man. That's deep, brother.
My why is not just about money.
Right. You're trying to leave a legacy.
Listen.
Create the legacy, baby.
When they start talking about where some of the best barbecue is or where some of the best barbecue sauce is at, sooner or later, they're going to have to say, you know what? We've been slipping. We got to go see what's going on in Miami. All this talk is going on.
We got to go to the crib
down there. We got to go see what's up because I think he's going to give us a run for our money. I think we got to go down there at least give. That's my why. That's what my motivation is. Don't get me wrong. They say money can't buy you happiness. That's not true. You just got to give it away. That's why every year, this year is going to be our third year, out of my own pocket, I do Thanksgiving and I do Christmas dinners. My first year I did 10. Last year I did 20 families each. This year I'm shooting for 50 families that I'm going to feed for Thanksgiving and another 50 for Christmas.
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
That's going to be a staple of this company every year.
That's what I'm talking about. We got to get back, man.
Yeah. So
that's important.
Even at this early stage, I'm all about making my community better.
That's right.
That's my drive, and that's my passion, and that's what I'm running with.
And you know what? By me just watching you, from afar, it's just been amazing because you're following the people that are supporting. I see that support you, or they'll take a picture with the sauce and they be in different locations. And
yeah,
you're really building this fanfare, and it's like people genuinely appreciate the product.
Like you
and
would
most
not
importantly, they love the man behind the product.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I feel that kind of connection.
And what I try to do, and something I will always try to do, if somebody reaches out to me and say, hey, I'm doing some barbecue and I have a question, I don't reply to them with the answer. I reply to them with my phone number. I say, hey, if you got a couple of minutes, give me a call. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. So they will call me and I will walk them through a process. A couple of my customers I FaceTime. I'm like, okay, come on, we're going to do this together. It might take us 20, 30 minutes, but we're going to do this right now. And they're so stunned that they can get me on the phone or FaceTime.
You make yourself accessible.
Right. So I understand if I really want to be as big as I want to be, it may not be me personally, but I'm always going to leave an outlet, a door where my customers can walk in, pick up the phone and say, hey, I have a question. Can you help me out?
Can you help me out with this particular thing? Right. How do I get this process going?
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you thinking about, or maybe this, you can do this, but your sauce, can it go in seafood? Can it go in other things outside of meat, or is that something you're thinking about?
So I have a tartar sauce. Right now, I have a total of 17 SKUs, 17 different sauces. I got a seafood rub. I got a Miami
you got
spice.
A seafood rub?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually made a rub that's dedicated to seafood, one that you can use for chicken, beef, pork. And the reason I did that is because one thing I know for sure is consumers are educated. If you wanted a recipe for salmon or a rub, you can simply go online and Google it. So for me to make a rub for pork, a rub for chicken, a rub for beef, sometimes you can't give them all those options.
Right, exactly.
You have to kind of streamline it. Here's for seafood, here's for everything else.
Right.
And I've taught people how to make sauce, but of course not my sauce.
Right.
But I will tell you, okay, if you want to make a sauce that's not tomato based, that's vinegar based, this is what you need. This is the numbers X, Y, and Z. This is how you keep it from breaking on you the whole night. And they're surprised by that. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to hide how to make a sauce from you because you can't make my sauce. But I can teach you how to make a sauce.
A sauce.
I'm not scared to teach you what I know.
I love the fact that you're educated. That's so cool that you're still sharing knowledge,
It's one of those things where, how they say the truth always comes to light. Listen, if you wanted to know the truth on how to make barbecue sauce, all you got to do is Google it. Go on YouTube, and there's videos of how they make
galore, right?
So what am I going to really keep secret from you?
Right, exactly.
The only thing I'm not going to give you is my particular recipe for my product because that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But if someone says, I want to make a barbecue sauce, what's the base? I'll tell you.
Right.
Tomato paste or ketchup, salt, pepper, garlic powder, whatever else you might like, some apple cider. I'll give you the numbers.
Right.
There's nothing to hide. I'm not confident in my product.
There's nothing to hide, but you can't mess with Cafe 305.
Listen, I've gone to the point to where other guys who I know make barbecue sauce and they're on the smaller side of a company. I shout them out. I promote their products on because my whole thing is this: we're all in this together. I got no beef for the next man who wants to start a barbecue sauce business.
Right.
As a matter of fact, let me tell you what I know to help you. Yeah, we're competition. I get it. But I'm not so insecure in what I know about my product that I can't share some things with you. I'm never going to give you my recipe. Absolutely not.
Right.
But I can tell you how to apply to the FDA. I can tell you what needs to be on your labels. I can tell you how to get barcodes. I can tell you where to find bottles that are already approved by the FDA. What glass bottles aren't, what plastic bottles are not approved, what is approved, you know, what pH does your sauce needs to be to survive if it's a hot sauce, you know, how to ship something internationally, what seals you need, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, people say, well, how do you find the seal on the inside? I'll show you where to get them from, and I'll show you, you know what, get the ones that get applied with pressure as you put it on the top. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm not going to tell you how to do all that for what?
Right.
No, I'll share the knowledge with you. Absolutely.
That's so cool, man. That is so cool. And finally, man, as we conclude this, I know that me and you have more to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the future, in the very near future. Is there any piece of advice for anyone that's trying to get into the food industry or get into what you're doing? What would be like the best piece of advice that you would give to somebody?
Okay, so several things. Whether you're selling yourself, a service, or a product, never let anybody tell you that you're not worth full price. First and foremost, don't ever let somebody try to discount you, your service, or your product. I'm not telling you to price your barbecue sauce at $100 because that's just not going to work. But if you're going to sell your barbecue sauce for $10 and you believe in your product that much, sell it for $10. Don't short yourself. Believe in yourself. The number one cause where I think most people don't succeed because they don't believe in themselves enough. They won't invest in themselves.
That's deep.
And you have to, because nobody else is going to believe in you more than you. Nobody. I don't care who it is. Your friends will support you. Strangers will support you. But you have to believe what you're doing is possible and you can succeed at it. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm not going to be an astronaut. I realize that.
Right.
I'm not going to be a heart surgeon. I can't sing. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Understand who you are as a person and what your capabilities are. Don't try to be, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody from being something they don't want, but I know I cannot be a heart surgeon. I ain't got it like that. I can feed them, don't get me wrong, but I can't be him. So I will say that. Do your research. Do your research. I would not, there's a particular number, but minimum before you come up with a name, do 40 hours of research on what it is that you're doing. You know, for instance, Cafe 305. I researched Cafe 305 for probably 3 months. I looked for it all over the world. I looked for it all over the country. Do your research.
You got to do your due diligence.
You have to. And the reason I say that is because when you get to a point, somebody's going to come after you for something.
That's right.
Somebody's going to come after you for something. It may not even fly. It may not even make it to the wall to stick.
Right.
Somebody's going to say,
they're going to at least try to attempt.
I came up with Cafe 305 back in 1998. Okay, show me.
Yeah.
This is a show me world.
This is show me world, baby.
I can show you pictures from 2011 when I sketched on a paper Cafe 305. And I can tell you why Cafe 305 is Cafe 305 and not 305 Cafe. I can tell you why. So do your research. And whatever I would say the biggest thing is whatever you decide to do, be passionate about it. Be passionate about it. Don't do it for money. Don't do it for fame.
Be
Do it
passionate.
because you be passionate about it. When somebody speaks to you about what you're doing, they should never have the question in their head, is this guy really into this? Nobody has ever looked at me and heard me talk about my sauce and said, I don't think the guy's into it that much.
Right. You are totally, you're in that bottle.
Every bottle that I sent out, every one of them, I've made it, I've packaged it, I've sealed it, I've mailed it, I've delivered it, I've eaten it, I've destroyed it. There's not a single person on the face of this planet, but God Himself, who can tell me more about my sauce than me.
Wow. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. I'm
And
placing some orders, man. I'm placing some
listen,
orders. I
I
gotta
got
get
you
the
covered.
bourbon out.
And for me, I feel like when I get to the point to where I need a 20, 30,000 square foot facility, I'm going to know what the janitor does. I am
Right.
at some point am going to do the janitor's job. I'm going to do the packer's job. I'm going to do the accountant's job. I'm going to do the HR person's job. I'm
That's
going to
right.
do the deliveries guy's job because I don't want anybody to say to me, well, you don't know how hard I work. Yeah, I do.
I've done it.
I've done it. I've cleaned the toilets in this building, even though that's not my job, but there's not a single part of my business that I don't want to be aware of. A couple of other things for me, when my business gets to that point to where I have multiple employees, the one thing that I think that I know for a fact that I'm going to ensure, only because I do care about quality of life. If you're employed by Cafe 305, by company's rules, you cannot work on your birthday. You'll
I
get
like
paid.
that. That's a good one.
You'll get paid for that day,
You get paid for that one day and your birthday. You get paid for it.
but you are not allowed in this building.
You're not allowed in this building.
And I tell you why. Because I feel like this. Every morning I wake up, I thank God for waking me up. And I make sure and do this before my feet touch the ground.
Amen.
So if God says, you know what, I made you on this day, I made sure you made it into this world. It's not me celebrating my birthday. It's me giving thanks to God for giving me. No employer on the face of this planet deserves that day. Nobody.
That's
There's
so
not a
good.
company on the first of this. Listen, there's not a company that deserves to have your time on your birthday because that is the day God gave to you. You
To
should
you.
not give it to anybody else.
Anyone else. I love that. I love that.
I do not work on my birthday. If you send me an order on November 9th, it will not go out to November 10th. I promise you. It won't happen because,
Scorpio.
listen, and I feel that way that so strongly. I want my employees to know how important they are.
Yes.
I want to know something personal about each and every one of my employees, meaning one of my employees might be a singer on the side. You know, they might do art on the side. I want to know one thing personal about each and every one of my employees.
Wow, that's fantastic, man.
Because I see it all the time where companies have a tendency to toss people aside like they're expendable.
Oh yeah. Oh
and they're
yeah.
not.
And then they're not appreciated. Believe me, I know.
I've learned it myself. I've learned it firsthand. So for me, when I get to the point to where I have employees like that, you will not allow to be in this building on your birthday. I won't allow it. I will personally walk you to the door. Go home. You'll get paid, but not today.
Man, that's fantastic, brother.
Yeah.
And you know what? We appreciate you. It's such a pleasure to have you on this show.
My
And
pleasure.
man, you have been an inspiration to me because there's moments and times where I'm like, man, okay, I got to pick it back up. Let me go over to Billy's page and see what he's got.
But you know what though? And if I can do that for just one person, then I'm happy with that because I want to see everybody win. That's why I always tell people, let me promote your business for you. I want to see everybody win.
That's it.
That's listen,
important.
I want to see everybody ball. Even if I got to make it my own league, I want to see you ball.
That's real. That's what it's about, man.
So,
all right. So now, if someone wants to get your sauce, they can go to the website.
Yeah, cafe305bbq.com. You can find the sauce there. You can check us out on Facebook, Cafe 305 Barbecue. YouTube is the same, Cafe 305 Barbecue. Instagram and TikTok, Cafe 305 BBQ. So yeah, you can find us on all those platforms. The sauce is easy to get. And if anything, drop me a line if you guys ever need any advice on anything, how to cook something up. I got you covered.
Well, we appreciate that, Mr. Breedlove, and
thank you.
I look forward for us to doing some more business in the future.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely going to be tasting some of that sauce, man.
I got you covered, brother.
All right. God bless you, my brother.
All right. You too.
Take care.
Later.
And now it's time for Fandemonium, a special segment where fans meet their favorite stars. Let's shake the world.
I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is John Tell, and I would like to welcome you to the Mental Margarita Show.
Thank you, John Tell. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get into it. So I heard that you self-taught yourself how to play music. Did you feel like that was your calling from God?
Well, it probably was from God because I first started in church, and well, my mom played piano in church, and but my daddy bought her a new piano when about 9, 10 years old, and they had 6 free lessons. So I was the oldest kid, so they put me in. I didn't want to do it, but I'm so glad they did. So I did about 6 months of training in the, then I told and when I got about 11, I told my mom and dad I don't want to do this no more. I want to play what I hear on the radio. So my music teacher said, well, if you want to learn that, you got to learn this. I said, well, if I keep doing this, I don't want to play no more. So they stopped spending the money. So I did self-teach from after 6 months of training. I was about 11. I stopped. And I went on. But, I worked with a lot of guys through the years that showed me things.
Okay, sounds good. So your first single was Sitting in My Class. What inspired you to write that song?
You really want to know the truth?
I do.
I had to start out like this, okay? I was born in Alabama, and a place called Camden, Alabama, about 35 miles out of Selma. So every year of my life, till I got about 16 years old, when summer was out, we spent a week or two on the farm. So I got to really know farm life. So when I got to be about, when my grandmother looked at me, knew I was out there being mad, she came to me and said, look, and I couldn't have been no more than, at that time, maybe 9 or 10. She said, we would play with one of the white ladies that owned the store down the road. She has a niece and a nephew, and they had this paint horse with like Tontos on it. And we would go there. So, and it was a girl, brother and a sister. So my grandmama said, look here, don't you whistle or wink your eye at the white girl. They'll tie a fan around your neck and throw you in the river. So now, And she told me that when I said 19, I didn't know anything about Emmett Till at that time. So after that, I said, okay, well, okay, I just eliminated white girls out of my life right there. But I got 17 years old. I was sitting in data processing class in my high school. I was in 11th grade. I saw a white girl used to sit across the aisle from me. And I kept looking at her and I said, oh man, she's really pretty. She looked like that actress, whatever it was, she looked like a star. So I said, she ain't gonna like me because I'm black. And so my boys do say, man, she ain't gonna care nothing about that because she gonna think you're Puerto Rican or Mexican. So you ain't even got to worry about it. So I thought, man. But that was the girl that I wrote the song about, sitting in my class, watching the girl in the next row.
I like that story. So tell me, what was it like working with such greats like Tina Marie, Smokey Robinson, and David Ruffin?
It was all such a pleasure. I mean, more than anything else, it was a pleasure. And those are some of my memories that I'll never forget because they were all great. Especially when Smokey Robinson was the first. No, let me take that back. Was it Smokey? No, it was Smokey. When I first went to Motown in 76, I went to Motown. And they put me, that was who they put me with, Smokey Robinson. And as a matter of fact, his first movie that he did a movie called Big Time that starred Jane Kennedy, Leon Isaac, and I did the soundtrack for him for that. The movie did. That's good, at least that's a good company to be with. And then David Ruffin was next. He's one of the greatest. I mean, he is like, he ended up being not just a great artist. He was my friend too. He was a genuine person. I don't care what they say about him. There's my man. He was really straight up guy, you know. And Tina Marie, she was, because I didn't know, I was at Motown at the time, just got there. And I was up in the writing, they got a place called Joe Bett in another floor at Motown. And I heard this girl singing, so I asked one of the secretaries, who is that? They said, a little white girl. I said, lying. So I went around the corner and looked in the corner, and she had a band around her head playing a guitar. And so I introduced myself. I said, hey, man, I'm running back there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you have a project? She said, no. She said, they only used me to show Diana for Thelma Houston songs. I said, you don't have your own project? She said, no. I said, I'm gonna ask Mr. Gordy, can I do something with you? I said, because you know what? You white and sound black. I went to Mr. Gordy. I said, man, you white girl sound black, man. Let me do something more. He said, okay, Ron, okay. So I did 8 songs on them. And they, after 8 songs, they told me, they said, we think you're taking Tina in the wrong direction. I said, 8 songs that took you.
8 songs.
But what I did, see, I opened up for them to see what she really had. That's what it was. So they went on and took it on. I said, it's okay. But I did the first album on it, and it's a demo album, but it's still out now. So they put it out called Rare Tea.
Okay. Is there anybody that you're interested in working with in the future?
I really would like to do a song on Shotty Wilson, and I'm close to getting to it.
Wow. That sounds great. That'll be great. This is a serious question, deserves a little bit of thought. Do you think R&B and soul music is dead?
Oh, no, not by any means. You know who's bringing it back? You know who's bringing it back, though.
Who's bringing it back?
Bruno Mars and that boy, Anderson. Them 2 boys there, they doing it. You know?
Yes, they are.
To me, a few years back, Alicia Keys was trying to bring it back with real instruments and full orchestrations and stuff, you know. So it's been coming back. You can't lose it. That's where it started. You know how everything goes, what they say, come full circle.
Yes.
You know, on the way back to what it is. And you're still gonna have all the other stuff because everybody don't like everything, and you got enough for everybody.
That is true. So you were a musical director of the Four Tops.
Well,
Then in the late 90s, you became a member. How was that transition?
well, first thing is somebody wrote that wrong because I never was musical director. What
Okay.
happened? My friend, my brother, Ronaldo Vincent, called him Obi Vincent. He was a member of the Four Tops. Matter of fact, he wrote "What's Going On," "Say the Children," and "Holy Holy" for Margarita. And so he was my friend, and that's the way I got in. The guy who was the music director got sick with a kidney ailment, and he went out, but he was a piano player. So they brought me in to play the keys. Somebody else did it direct, you know. But then years after that, I came in, and what happened was not years after that, about a few months, matter of fact, he came back, and then Duke, one of the original guys, said, "Look here, man, we want you to stay." I said, "Do what?" They said, "Well, we want you to be a safety valve just in case he might go into toxic shock." I said, "Well, it's a real job now, man. We want you to stand back." I said, "Okay, you want me to stand?" I said, "Okay." So I stood around, and he paid me good. But then Levi Stubbs got sick one night, and we were opening up for the Beach Boys. About 5-6 months later, we were opening up for the Beach Boys. And we were already at the venue, and he got sick, and they came and said, "You hear the news?" I said, "What news?" I said, "Levi can't do the show." I said, "What?" So the first thing I asked was, "We ain't gonna get paid." He said, we got to pay with yesterday's money. So I said, "Well, if I put my tuxedo on and be the fourth man, will they pay us?" And the man, he said, "Ronnie, can you do it?" I said, "Duke told me to start learning the background and steps. That's in case." I said, "Look, man, it's now or never. I ain't gonna keep standing around here like this." So he called Duke and said, "Duke, Ronnie said he can do it." So Duke said, "Man, if we can just do 40 minutes, can you do it, Ronnie?" I said, "It's now or never, man." So before I put my tuck on, the valet man said, "Come here, man, see, can you wear these pants?" The true story. So they threw Levi's suit on. And my arm was long, so my coat fit me good. I had to wear his pants low because they were flooded. But I went on out there, and we had another guy in the group called Theo People, one of the greatest singers I ever worked with. And Theo was in the group with the Four Tops. And so Theo moved up and did the lead parts. And I told Theo, I said, "Man, and he never did that. He was just the fourth man with the group." He said, "Man," I said, "if you miss a line, look at me, man. I've been saying all this stuff since a kid, pantomime." I said, "Then you get right back." He might have had to do that one time. So I went out, did that show, and we did 3 nights because Levi stayed sick about 3 nights. And after that, Duke made a statement in the dressing room and said, "Four Tops would not miss another show." And about 4 more months after that, Levi would call for me when he didn't feel right. The man stood up. Funny story to tell you if I can right here. He said, "Suit up." I said, "Okay." So I suited up. One of the times he did that and he was there and I wasn't expecting it because I was still new doing that. And he said, "Suit up, man." He said, "I don't feel like it." So they wore white, royal blue shirts and white shoes. Okay, so now they ain't got no shoes for me yet. I've been just feeling it. They ain't got no white shoes. So all I had was black. They looked all around to try to find, they couldn't find no white shoes. So I said, "Man, I'm not going out there with no black shoes on and y'all got white, blue. I'm not doing that." So Obi said, "I'll wear my black shoes." I said, "Well, that's what you better do because I'm not going out there by myself." So he didn't do
That
that.
is an awesome story.
Wait a minute. We over last night at the Westbury Theater in New York. So I go out there, and so I looked at them, they all walked away, and I said, "Nah, I can't just leave them because I got to go." So I walked down with them and walked up on the stage. It was a theater in the round. Soon as I got up on stage, first thing they said was, "Where's Levi?" I'm the crowd. So then the next somebody else said, "What's up with the black shoes?" So I said, "Dude, if you don't tell some kind of story, I'm just gonna walk off at the now." So he told the wardrobe didn't get there right, and we did the show. But anyway, got with the fourth time. After that, Levi retired that next year, which was 2001. So January, they gave me the job. January 2001, I became a fourth time.
I thank you very much for taking time to clarify that story. And let me ask you, is music your mental margarita?
And well, I can say it like a lot of people. That's the only thing I know how to do. I gotta go to the store and run the lottery machine. All I know how.
Is there anything else that you like to do for your mental margarita?
Well, I play golf, and the thing I love about it is I gotta be one of the most blessed persons on earth, because like I said, my 22nd year before Topsy. I started playing golf about in 2005, 2006 maybe. And right now I sing for an hour and I play golf all around the world. I gotta be, I mean, I'm so blessed from where I came from.
So let me ask you, how can those interested in you and your music find you?
They have me, I've got a fan club, Facebook fan club, and they got me going about Ronnie Mac. You know, that kind of, you just go there and they'll you can see me. And they're getting ready to do a lot of more things, because I'm kind of old school with all of that, you know. And but I got my daughters and my grandkids now that's getting involved with me with my music too. I got some rappers coming up. I got a nephew, hell of a spoken word and rap at the same time. I'm getting ready to do some things with him. His name is Jew Hall. So I'm getting ready to do some things with him. Even got a little great niece that comes over my house, and when I get on her, she gets to singing to me. That might be something.
So let me ask you, who do you think inspired you the most in your lifetime?
You know what? I have to say that my dad.
Okay.
Because when my dad and mother, they divorced. They didn't even divorce. They separated until both of them death. They were still married over 40 years. My dad loved my mom like Romeo to Juliet, but she left him and I stayed with my dad when the family broke up. I was about 14, 15. And I stayed with my dad because everybody was leaving him. I said, I'm not leaving my dad by himself. But if it had been him doing my mama like that, I ain't leaving my mama by herself either. So I just was put in that position. But my dad, after that, when I had started playing, learning songs, my dad used to come home from work from the factory and bring his buddies home. This was probably one of my most greatest times of music. He would say, son, play me Sam Cooke, Chuck Jackson, Mama Gay. And I'd be learning these songs, and buddies be sitting around drinking, and I'd play them songs. I'd be sitting there playing. I just wasn't but about 13, 14, and I'd do that. So he really was the one, and he kept pushing me to do that, you know. Got me in the conference. He's the one that really got me into the business.
Okay. Well, look, this has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you very much for taking the time. Again, my name is John Tell, and we are with Mr. Ronnie McNair of the Four Tops. And this is Mental Margarita. And you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. Really.
I thank you as well. It was a pleasure. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, world? Thank you for tuning in to the Mental Margarita Show. I am the Rebel, and this is my rant. So guess what? I almost crashed last night. Yeah. And you know why? Because of all these vote for me billboards going up everywhere. Some weirdo actually put the candidate for the district safety manager sign on the stop sign. I mean, he had me falling off my bike looking like Joe Biden and everything. And yeah, I know that it's election season and all that, but can you please tell your people to stop putting these hazard materials and objects out in the streets? I mean, the city's already got bad drivers. As a matter of fact, most of us already know who we're going to vote for anyways, right? The one with the least problems. For real. What, you haven't seen the TV commercials where they're battling back and forth with each other? Every time I see one of those commercials, it's like I'm watching a slapping contest or something, where the last man standing wins, and those are the people that we're supposed to vote for. No, I'm not saying not to vote. I'm just asking you to know who you're actually voting for. And don't just go and vote for the right one, but vote for the real one. One more thing. We got to watch out for Donald Trump. He's trying to come back and make this country gay. I mean, make this country great again. And now he's using the N word. Yeah, nuclear. Is that boy crazy or what? Look, all I know is that something weird is happening. And one more thing. For the people that don't vote, well, I guess you could just sit back and enjoy the show. Because your opinion don't matter just like mine. I mean, at this point, all you're really doing is ranting. Be aware of self, be aware of mind, and be aware of others. Thank you, and carpe diem.
I want to say welcome to the Mental Margarita show. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, let me see. Andra Annette,
Correct.
holistic practitioner, a nurse, a nutritionist, helping women to lose weight quickly. Let's
Yes.
dive into that. How are you helping women to lose weight quickly?
Well, telling them the truth about diets. A lot of people think that it's really difficult and they're just really being fed a lot of bad information. People are selling restrictive diets, which makes them sicker. It throws off their hormones and their gut health and the metabolism. So they may lose a little bit of weight, but they're going to gain it all back and then some. Healthcare has become a very big business, so has the diet industry, and at the expense of other people. I was that big woman, and I know those diets don't work. I personally lost 100 pounds, and it was
Good for
stress.
you.
Well, thanks, but it took me time. I was this big, and then I was this big, and then I went back. I know that stress is a big component in diet, and it causes a lot of unnecessary inflammation in the body because of the hormones that are affected. And that really plays a big role in people's diet and how quickly they lose. So I know that people want to lose weight yesterday, but if they do it right and in the right order, reduce the stress and really repair their gut health, their hormones and everything will come back. Your body is just, it's a big baby, and the more you give it what it wants, the more it responds and says, okay, I'm ready, okay,
Right.
mom, so it's just about learning to feed your body what it really craves, and it's really not that hard, and it's not about giving up everything you love to eat. It's about showing moderation and balance and common sense, but unfortunately that's a little overrated sometimes.
It's uncommon.
Yes.
Now, when you say diet now, because I mean, like you said, there's so many diet plans that are out there right now. What is your personal diet plan that you felt was successful for you? Because I'm sure you tried many.
Okay, my whole concept is to teach people how to stop dieting. I haven't had to diet in 12 years now. So
Wow.
my goal is to really stop them from dieting. It's about finding foods that you love. So when I sit down and I do an assessment with people, you don't go into someone's home as a nurse and say, okay, you can't do this and you can't do that. You have to meet them where they're at and say, what are you eating now? And what changes can we make that are still going to satisfy you and help you reach your goals. So it's
Right.
about finding things that they cannot just eat today, but tomorrow, next week, and next year that they'll still be eating. So we're giving them a lifestyle, not another diet, because
Right.
diets don't work. And when you restrict food and you stop people from having the things they really want, they're not going to stay with it. They're not going to get momentum, and they're going to slowly but surely go back to what they were doing. So you make small little changes.
That's, you know what, that sound, I mean, to me, that sounds realistic, because it is really hard. Someone that is used to eating a certain way, you can't expect it to just overnight turn into something totally different. So I totally get that. Now, you have a book that is coming out or that you're working
Yes,
on and releasing?
yes, I have two. Um, I have one that's coming out. We're actually doing our book tour in New York with She Rises Solution. It's called Unleash Me, and it's about women becoming unstoppable, things they've gone through and how they got through it and why they're in business. So it's really about women supporting women and, moving on, becoming something else. That's why I really liked listening to your story. You're an inspiration. You are.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
and then the next book is Unstoppable Women in Healthcare.
Wow, unstoppable women in healthcare. What gave you this vision to write about these things? I mean, because it's inspiring, and I know, there's plenty of people out there, especially around the United States, that are going through mental health issues and things of that nature. What are some of the things that motivate you to write these kind of articles?
Well, I was approached by someone else to be in their magazine, be featured in their magazine or on their podcast. And when I sat down to speak to her, we started talking about something that was going on in her family. And I started giving her some little tips about what she should do, like medically, but we just really hit it off. And she said, we have these women getting together for a book, and I think you'd be a great addition to that if you're interested. And I
Wow.
said, sure. So I was just lucky to be in the right place at the right time. Sometimes that happens because we just really connected, and I listened to her story and she asked me mine, and she loved my story. So this book is really globally. So it allows me to share my story, what I went through, because I was that big woman, and I was going to the doctor telling them I thought something was wrong medically, and they weren't listening to me. And that is really my message, to advocate for yourself and to take care of yourself so that you can really take care of the people in your life and show up as that wife 100%, as that worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Be a
totally
better
know.
friend.
Yeah, that's true. So the release date of the book,
October 25th this year.
October 25th, guys. October 25th. The name of the book is
Unleash Her.
Unleash Her.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on Amazon.
It comes to Amazon first, yes, and then it goes to Barnes and Nobles and everywhere else. So yes.
So Amazon, guys, Barnes and Nobles, make sure that you guys pick up a copy. Andrea, you've been fantastic. I love what you're doing for people. And I think that it's such an inspiration because, not only women, but men, everybody needs to hear something like this. Because a lot of times, when they're in situations that they feel like it's taking over them, you feel alone. You feel very alone. And so hearing a voice, hearing someone to reassure you that, hey, this is something that you guys can do for yourself. And it's not impossible. And I love what you said, you got to find out where what the people are at. And that's awesome. That's awesome that you have that approach. So we appreciate you here on the Mental Margarita Show. Is there anywhere that someone, if they're looking to follow you, where can they reach you at?
I'm on Facebook as my name, Andronette, but my brand is Pounds to Go. So Pounds to Go, Ask the Nurse, weight loss at Pounds to Go, natural holistics. I'm all over Facebook. I'm trying to reach as many people as I can and get America healthy again. That's my goal.
Let's do it, baby.
Listen, I love people. I since the time I was a little girl, I knew that I wanted to work with people, and I love being able to be a part of that journey with them and help them get to where they want to be in their health, in their life, so they can be the best they can be for their families, for the people in their life that they love. So it wasn't always the case for me. So I want to help other people have that.
Well, that's great. And we got a lot of love for you, Andra. Thank you once again for coming on the show. And I look forward to reading your book.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
All right. You take care now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay. The city shines like Liberace's mansion. And you know Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling, yeah, that would tempt me. It's Sin City, holy water couldn't cleanse me. And Wayne Newton had the crowd in a frenzy. Live at the Stardust, the seats never empty. Now if you having a good time in Las Vegas, at the count of 3, I want to hear you scream, Viva Las Vegas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Viva Las Vegas! And Main Street was the official local beer stop. Enough slot machine noise to make your ears pop. The cigarette girls walking souvenir shops, while Red Fox had them laughing till the tears drop. Before Steve got a win at the right time, Sig and Roy had a long circus lifeline. Now the strip's got a lot of neon light signs. Would you agree there's not another city like mine? Years later, Mayweather got the city hot, and everybody in your city with a TV watch. Celine Dion got celebrities at every spot. Boyz II Men even got Jenny on the block. Now here's the culture shot, the desert's got a hockey scene. Golden Knights, yeah, the #1 hockey team. And we even got the Raiders repping Vegas now. So get the champagne, it's time to bring the waiters out.